The name of the book is Enrichment of the Self and Soul. Who doesn't want that? Richard Choura joins us. He's the author here on Author's Corner on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. This is a game-changing book, my friends. Richard, thanks so much for coming on.
You're welcome. I was glad to be here. It's an honor, Kate.
So you're a consultant engineer. That was your career. And then you go on this journey. And tell us about the journey, because what was the journey to making this book a reality, and what did you find out?
Well, it started off, I used to read books on being and becoming. Those are philosophy subjects. And one day, after reading this material for like 3 or 4 years and going down to the bookstore and buying them, I went up to the University of Tennessee library. I'd never been there. It was a brand new library. Went upstairs and to the third floor. It wasn't marked like what the subject was in those aisles. And I walked down the aisle and just at random picked out a book, and I opened it to a page that said the word self. And so I looked in the index, and I looked back on what it said self, and I thought, this sounds like being becoming, only better. So I did a lot of research, and I found that it was. And so later on, I was a consulting engineer that worked for the Fortune 100, 200 companies, and I would work in different states. Sometime I'd say I worked in at least 5 or 6 states. And then what I would do after work is go to a state library, and I would do research on the self, and I would research like people that said they had higher achievements. As part of their book, they would write about their achievements as an artist, a philosopher, a physicist even, and a musician, and a sociologist, and several kind of different career fields. And these people all said that they wanted to give credit to the fact that they had developed their inner self, and it was a big achievement, and they were recommending it to everybody else. So it took me 6 years. I mean, it didn't take me, but I just decided I wanted to keep going. And then, beside that, I went to several bookstores, many bookstores, and I bought and read probably hundreds of books, kept the bookstores happy, and so it turned out that it came out to be a pretty good book. It was about 130 pages. Actually, I had like 3 books when I started. I had an analyst literary consultant look at it and says, well, you got 3 books, because I had so much material. I had something on astronomy, and then I had a whole bunch on physics. They said, you should take that out. So I did, and I left the rest of this, which is very meaty anyway. And so that was my journey there. And
that's so interesting. You talk about, that discovery of self. And in the book, the 6 years to do it, you have 5 kinds of selves. Tell us about that.
Well, there's psychologists that have researched this, and they name the 5 different kinds of selves, and they say that each one of these has its own process of development. Now, I know I don't think hardly anybody would be aware of that they have a process of development going on from their early age all the way up. But the psychologists say that if any one of those 5 different selves has a problem developing, that they could have problems later on and maybe need therapy. And also in other cultures around the world, people have customs for developing the self, but it's not formalized. I don't even know if people realize in other cultures are developing themselves. But like Margaret Mead and several sociologists that study this kind of topic said that that's true. That's the way it happens over there. And over in India, for example, they've been very, very tuned to the self for like at least 2,000 years. I mean, they have a lot of literature about it, and they have their book of Vedas and everything else, and a lot of it is very important to do with the self. And so that's
that's part of it.
Sums up. Yeah. Here's one more thing. One more thing. They say that if you do not read about the self or learn about the self, you only read one page in the book of life. So that's pretty bad. If you people don't even know that. I mean, that was a surprise to me. Even I'll tell you.
Oh, that makes the hair on my arm stand up. One page in the book of life. I mean, my gosh, that nails it. What an epiphany. And you talk about all kinds of things like symbols are so, and you mentioned it, symbols are so important, aren't they?
Symbols are very important. There's a guy, his name is Juan, Juan Cirot, Cirot, who wrote a book called Dictionary of Symbolism. And then there's several professors. One of them was a woman named Carolyn Bynum, she made a point that, and she did research on this, that symbols will mean different things to men than they do to women a lot of times. The same symbol, they'll see it, but they'll interpret it because they're a woman or they're a man. So that's interesting. So you might say, for whom does the symbol mean, or what, something like that.
Yeah. For you in writing Enrichment of the Self and Soul, I mean, Principles of Life, Cradle of the Soul, the book showing people how to get beyond one page in the book of life and look at other disciplines and walks of life and seeing more about self. What did that journey do to you? Because I would imagine from where you started to where you finished to then doing this book, that has had to have had an impact on you.
Well, it has made me a better person. I know that. A lot of people have problems with organized religion lately. So they're looking for spirituality outside of their organized previous religion. And I could say that something like this helps you a lot. And, it helps me to be a good person and to have more meaning in life, because a lot of life can be meaningless, or as they say, a hell of hate, because you got to have some meaning, you got to have meaning. And so this book here, what it tries to do is connect aesthetic and scientific and spiritual meaning to a lot of different subjects and career fields like art, music, philosophy, you name it. And in books, there's a lot of examples of people in different career fields who all have something to say good about themselves and their meaning in life, because they were able to get themselves, to a higher level. You can get yourself to a much higher level, and that brings up the rest of your body and soul. Brings your soul up, brings your thinking up to a higher level, and it's kind of automatic. If you bring yourself up, you're bringing your soul up and your spirituality up. And so with the bad problems going on today, especially when COVID happened, people were depressed, they were angry, they were scared. And so this is a good cure for that. And, with global warming, you're also kind of scared, but, it could help.
Right. Well, you talk about it, filling the void of human life with light. That's it. Yeah, that's it. That's a very good phrase. That's a very good quote I have in there. I'm glad you said that, because that kind of sums it up. Like I have something in there about why do we have beautiful landscapes and what I call them soulscapes. View of the ocean, view of the mountains. Yeah.
Because it gives you meaning. It kind of gives you meaning in life. Soulscapes are like the right hand of nature. Like you just said, having the light
Yeah, finding the light too, boy.
Finding the light.
Yeah, this book is great. Pick it up. Enrichment of the Self and Soul. Richard Choura, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here, Kate. Thank you, and I enjoyed it.